Dionne Warwick, beautiful song. I heard her just the other night on one of the late night talk shows. She sounds just as good as she ever did.
Oh yeah,
yeah, it's pretty amazing. She sounds better than I think I do in the shower, which is not a big challenge. All right, so you're kind of a car guy, aren't you, Jim? Kind of like cars? Cars?
Oh, somewhat.
All right, here's one for you.
All right.
A guy by the name of George Swanson in 1994 passed away. He was an elderly gentleman. I mean, he lived a full life. That's not the deal. In his will, he specified, and he had bought a gravesite to accept it. He was buried May 25th, 1994, in his 84 Corvette Stingray.
I remember that story.
That's a car lover to the end. Yeah. Thought that was cool.
Yeah. Wanted to take it with him.
Yeah, I bet he ain't
if
driving
I can't
it today.
take it with me, I'm not going.
Yeah.
He'd have to drive it because there's not enough room to lay down in it.
That's right. Yeah. So, Mike, you are in the home inspections business. You haven't seen anything. You're just jammed up, right? You're loaded.
As far as my schedule, this is really the busy season.
You're busy, right. Well, the reason I bring that up is, I keep hearing as a realtor, man, is the market going to recover? And my answer still, and I've said it on this show a lot of times, my answer is still recover from what? 2014 was an unbelievably stellar year. 2015 was one of the top 5 years we'd ever had, and that's when the market was slowing down. Mm-hmm. 2016 was almost a mirror image of 2015, so it certainly didn't slow down there. Now, 2017, we're almost halfway into it. I've got some statistics as of the end of April, that we're just going to briefly talk about. And it's basically the same report as we've seen for the last 2 years. There are some numbers that are indicators of some things happening. So we got single-family homes. They're off 10% total in numbers of units sold. That's 363 last year, 327 this year. Almost all of that is Mandan rural and the city of Lincoln. The city of Lincoln is off 35% in sales from last year, and that's exactly what we're talking about, Mike. You got to have the land to build the houses.
That's right. They really did open up that northern east side.
Right.
Put up a lot of houses, and now they're
doing their next developments. There's a couple developments that they're in the middle of, and when they open up, this number will fix itself because most of those homes are very affordable. So that's it. And then Mandan rural and in Lincoln, we're talking 26 homes, 17 homes. So that's going to make a difference in our numbers. Mm-hmm. Mandan rural is off 56%. That's 9-4. We're not, it's off a bunch, but not so much. And that's just, again, same thing. There aren't houses going up for sale there. So those statistics throw that off a bit. When you get down to the average list price for just single-family homes, it's off 2%. And the average sale price is off 1%. That's negligible. That is, and I've said this before again, and I'm still trying to figure out how to break the information out. I'll try to have it by next week. If we do have a market that is slow, it's in executive homes. The ones well over 450, let's say $500,000 and up. We're not having the buyers for those that we did. There's a number of them on the market. As a matter of fact, there's an indice we take that says we compare the number of homes on the market to the number of homes that sell in a month in that market, and we have almost a 3-year inventory in these executive homes. So they're going to take a while to sell. They're the ones that are coming down because people need to move them, and that is a soft market. The executive homes is a soft market, and that's what's pushing the list price and the sold prices down as these homes come down somewhat dramatically. Sure. For the housing industry. So that's off. That puts us in single-family homes off in sold price 1%, off in list price 2%. Here's where we're doing real well. That's in twin homes. Twin homes are up overall in Bismarck, Lincoln. They're up overall. Numbers sold is 5%, up in price 11%, up in price up in sold price 10%. So they're doing very well. That's a very good market. And here's some really good news. As they've lightened up a little bit on some condo financing, condo sales in Bismarck, Mandan are up 28% in numbers sold and up 3% in the price. So that's a nice spot in the market. So in Bismarck right now, total real estate residences, now this is 4 units and under. We're not talking apartments. 4 units is still considered residential. In a rental unit, it gets to 5, it's commercial, so it's a different deal. Okay. So overall, our numbers of units sold is off 7%, which is acceptable, given what's happened in the Lincoln and the rural Mandan area. Mm-hmm. But our list price is off just 1%, and our sold price is just off just 1%. It's taking a little longer to sell. It's a bit more of a buyer's market. So really, if we can just scratch everything from $500,000 up, we're up about, I'm guessing, 3 to 4%, which is the national average, what's pegged for North Dakota. So, sure. Folks, the sky is not falling. It's just fine. So overall, now I'm going to talk lots, towns, manufactured homes, the whole darn deal. We're just static. It's just a flat line. It's the same as last year. Prices are good. So if you're buying a house for an investment, don't expect to flip it real quick and make money necessarily, but it's a stable market, and we're going to see by the time we're done in the homes most of us live in and buy, we're going to see an appreciation of much better than your savings account. So
yeah, because again, you're looking at about 1 to 1.5% appreciation over the next year, and your savings account is pennies,
0.5% if you're really lucky.
Yeah.
Where did I hear probably somewhere in the socialist left coast? There's some banks talking about charging you to have a checking account.
Wonderful.
I mean, and charging you to hold your money in a savings account.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so isn't that wonderful? All righty, so let's talk. We're going to go into homes now. Something that we've talked about, Mike, on this, you've been here before, talked about the great termite invasion.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. There was some FHA guys, some bank picked this up. There was a report of termites in the northwest part of the state. They found some dead termites in some lumber shipped from the south, and so we were put on a termite watch. They were going to start enforcing inspections for termites before a house could be sold.
Right.
Well, kind of argued with that, said, really, we don't have termites in North Dakota, never have, but they were going to do this. So the FHA has finally said, no, you don't need to inspect for termites in North Dakota. Now, we do have carpenter ants, rarely, but we have them.
Yes, we do.
And the termites are coming, folks. They're in southern South Dakota. They have been there for generations, but they're slowly moving north. And Mike, you said you've heard or read some stuff on that?
I have. I did my training in South Dakota, so I have had training in termite inspections and what to look for. And in all of my inspections here in the Bismarck, Mandan, and throughout the state, I haven't found any concerns with any of that. Now, I have found carpenter ants. That was traditionally in the Beulah, Hazen area. And one of the symptoms that you'll find when you see that is small piles of sawdust, crazy enough, in wall crevices and all that other stuff. And if you see that, you would definitely want to contact a pest individual to have that further looked at.
Yeah, and carpenter ants, as I understand, are pretty easy to get rid of, not like termites where you just try to control them.
That's true.
So, folks, we're going to have termites. They're going to come, and when they get here, in about 10 or 12 generations, we'll have to deal with it. Well, my grandkids will have to deal with it. I'm not worrying.
And neither am I.
Okay.
It'll be quite a while.
All right, so we're coming up on our next break. As we go out, Mike, I want you to tell me, we're going to talk at the end of this thing about some other housing things, but I want you to tell me what's happening in Lincoln, what we're going to look forward to there.
June 3rd, I am working with the Lincoln Police Department, and we're putting together a community event where it's going to be the police, the sheriff, the ambulance is going to be there, and we're reaching out to the community to serve some hot dogs and play some games and just do a meet and greet. We'll be able to crawl through the cruisers and all that other stuff. Be a wonderful time. So I'm looking forward to talking about that soon.
Okay, a great small town community picnic. I love it.
That's right.
All right, folks, we'll be back shortly. Thanks. Hang with us.
You see this guy.
Right now it's 53.
Dave Ramsey is heard here. Super Talk 1270.
Raindrops are falling on my head.
Oh, man, that's one of my favorites from Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. I'm trying to think of the singer's name. It'll come to me. It doesn't matter. But it's another one of the songs written by Hal
David.
And
Burt Bacharach, of course. Hal David's birthday is today.
Happy birthday, Hal. I bet he's
B.J.
26.
Thomas is the singer.
Thank you, B.J. Thomas. I knew that, but I couldn't come up with it. That's just, I got a great mind for an old man. I just have to bait it before it catches it.
There you go.
All right, so we're talking about Lincoln and a party, Mike.
We are. Yeah, we're going to have, the Lincoln Police Department down there, and we've done this for 3 years.
Okay, so this is the third annual, fourth annual?
Third annual.
Third annual,
Yeah.
okay.
And it's interesting. I did a home inspection for the police chief, not the police chief at that time, but up in Washburn. He had me do an inspection. He was a sheriff then, and then he contacted me when he moved down to Bismarck, did another inspection. So we've talked to each other and all that other stuff. And I was down in Lincoln after an inspection and kind of rubbed shoulders with him, and he said, we're getting together this little community event, and I'm like, well, I got a big old barbecue. I could probably help you turn some hot dogs, and so that's how it all got started. And since then, we've gone from just minnow races and basketball and all that stuff outside to actually being able to use the gym in the school.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So it is, weather independent. We'll have activities on the inside. On the outside, we're going to have a bouncy house donated. We're also going to have basketball and the minnow races. I guarantee the kids lose their minds because they do tournament style. They get to pick out their little minnow, put it in a cup, they name them, and it goes up on the race board. And and it's a big old tournament, and boy, that is really a good attraction. We're going to have 4 tracks out there, so that's going to move the minnows through pretty quick, which is good. And then on the inside, we're also going to do bingo, musical chairs. We're going to have a parachute there with a bunch of balls, all that fun, cool stuff.
Yep.
We're going to have some face painting. Then, nothing clears a room like a guy coming in with a bunch of balloons.
That's true.
Yeah, the different hats and the swords and the flowers and all that other stuff. He's going to be there from noon to 4, I believe, or 1:30 to 4, I think. And it's really interesting to see what he can make with all of those. Now, also, the Lincoln Police Department will have a lot of their cruisers there, so the kids will be able to crawl through there and shake hands and run the sirens and all that other stuff, along with the Sheriff's Department, Highway Patrol, Rural Fire Department, and then the ambulance will be down there, too.
Is that Metro Ambulance?
It will.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, and then if they get called, of course, they have to scamper off,
Yeah.
which is kind of cool because they light them up and take off, which is kind of great. But, it really does create that connection to cut down on the nervousness of, this is a policeman,
Sure.
and
Yep.
these are real people. This is the ambulance, and this is what it's like in there. So it's not so scary. They get to go up in the jump seat of the fire truck.
Oh, kids
and-
love that.
Oh,
They crawl all over those things.
Yeah, they do. And everyone really takes it really well. The Highway Patrol will be there, so that's always good. And then we're also going to have a big farm implement, some farm equipment out there. So,
Okay.
And that'll be interesting for folks to kind of crawl around on and all that other stuff. So we're going to have hot dogs on the grill. We're going to have chips. We're going to have drinks. It's really going to be a fun time. Again, the event is going to be from 11 o'clock until 4. come on down, bring your kids. Well, there'll be tons of games, lots of prizes, and some good handouts. So, and it's a great way to not only network with the officials, the community, police department, and all that other stuff, but also to start your summer off by meeting some new friends and just shaking hands with your folks out there. So you don't have to be from Lincoln, and we're just having it out there. Everyone's welcome.
All right. So it's in Lincoln by the school, I assume?
It is. By and in the school.
66th and Lincoln Road.
You should see it there. Lincoln, no, it'd be whatever north of that. It's a little north of that.
Yeah, just north of Lincoln Road and 66th. Yep. All right.
Perfect, yep.
And it's June
3rd.
June 3rd.
From 11 o'clock until 4.
Until 4. Mm-hmm. Bring the kids. Leave the dog home.
Please.
All right.
Now, as an added bonus, we're also going to do, I don't know if you guys have seen, where you take a watermelon and put rubber bands around it until it actually blows up. Well, we're going to have the police department against the fire department or something. We'll figure it out. And then we'll just keep putting rubber bands on that until that watermelon blows up. So come on over and check that out, too.
All righty. And then hopefully we'll have some volunteers from Century 21 Morrison out there to help.
That's true.
And so maybe we can have a Mike against Century 21 watermelon fight.
We could do that too.
Sounds like a lot of fun. All right, Mike, thank you very much. We'll talk again about this right at the end of the show, folks. We'll give you the time and place and a blurb in the last just few minutes of the show. Now we're going to talk about some other stuff. Mike, we know that the termites are not coming in the near future. We have some carpenter ants. We don't have a lot of invasive or critters that harm our homes.
That's true.
However, we're going into hail season. We're going into thunderstorm season.
And that will harm our homes.
Some of the things that we want to look for prior to or after a storm, what other kinds of things should we be doing about our homes this time of year?
A lot of the people that have gotten the new roofs from this last hailstorm, especially if they've been put on towards the end of the fall, they haven't had a chance to really melt down and seal. So, I invite you guys safely get up on your roof. If you have to put the ladder on the grass, I do suggest putting 2 screwdrivers behind the feet of the ladder so it doesn't kick out behind you.
Is that from experience?
Well, not that particular one, but I have had a ladder come out from underneath me, and that was a bad day. If you ever get nervous, also not a bad idea just to put your car up against the back of the ladder.
That's a good idea.
Safety first. I've had to do that. I do have a 22-foot ladder, and there's a couple times when I've done that. But we wanted to get up on the roof safely, and just go up there and gently lift up those shingles. You can't pull them loose, and that's not what we're looking for. But if they're not attached or anything like that, just take some of that shingle sealant, go ahead and put a few dabs of that down and seal those down on all those loose ones, especially on the north and west side. That's where that prevailing wind
where they don't
comes
get the heat and the wind blows. Yep.
Because the last thing we want to do is get in a thunderstorm where you start having that shingle damage from the wind catching them and lifting them up. Another thing is that while you're up there, we want to inspect the gutters, make sure that they're nice and clear, and then take a hose with you, because I want you to go ahead and not only run the water down the gutter, but I want you to run down the downspouts, because there may be hidden material in those bends and that you may not know. And if the gutters overflow, then the water's going to come down right next to your house, and that just exacerbates any poor grading or anything right next to your house. When that water comes down next to your house, make sure that your grading is moving away from your property. And, when you have that plastic edging around your property or whichever, the bricks.
Yeah, those landscaping.
The landscaping edging, yeah. Make sure you go ahead and cut a few holes through that and then also eke out a little bit of that ground so that the water is actually going to be able to move through there. Because otherwise, when those gutters overflow in a good deluge, that's when the water gets trapped behind that area, comes down along your wall, comes down underneath your foundation, and that's when we start getting the moisture in the basement.
Okay.
And there have been times when, especially during that last June storm, when we've had water in the basement and we've pulled back the carpet and we notice on the nail strips that they're dark enough where that has had history. So we just want to make sure we're being proactive and creating and preventing that from happening again.
And of course, you always push the plastic covers over the window wells.
Window wells definitely have those covers on top. If it's an odd shape window well, then you want to take 2x2s, make a frame, and then plexiglass. Make sure you pre-drill the plexiglass. The drill bit goes backwards. That way you're able to get the screw in there without it cracking, and then make that cover, bungee cord that down to the bottom so that it is able to get down.
Mike, I think we have a phone call.
Sounds wonderful.
Hello.
Hello.
And we lost him.
He's a ghost.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Well, we got just a couple seconds here before we go to the next break. If he calls back, we'll catch him on the flip side of our break. So we got our gutters, we got our draining in our yards, we've got all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. We're going to start to talk about some siding issues.
Yeah, now that we're at the beginning of summer, we have the time to be able to do a little bit of that routine maintenance, especially on masonite siding. And we're going to talk about those pesky woodpeckers.
Pesky woodpeckers, all right. Yeah, with all the snow we had, this was a tough winter for siding, especially masonite or actual real wood siding, because it sat in snow and then got iced and gets wet, so you got to make sure you seal that bottom up, right?
Yes, you do.
Okay, we are about ready to take a break, so we will go out with, looks like Dionne Warwick.
Promises, promises, I'm through with promises, promises now.
Right now it's 53.
Here's Sean Hannity, weekday afternoons on Super Talk 1270.
What do you get when you fall in love? A guy with a pin to burst your bubble. That's what you get.
No, folks, Dionne Warwick did not have throat surgery. That's Elvis Costello singing I'll Never Fall. Beautiful rendition. I hadn't heard that.
Well, Bert himself, I think, did the arrangement.
Yeah.
And that was used in one of the Austin Powers movies.
Oh, really?
Yes,
Cool.
a very nice effect. They were in downtown London, and Elvis was standing on a street corner, and that was the song he was singing. Very nice.
I don't remember that. I thought I'd seen all those movies, but I don't remember that. Well, good. He won't fall in love again until next Saturday. All right. Mike Wilson here from Ace Inspections. This is the Dakota Housing Network. We're talking with Mike about things you should do for maintenance with your home in the spring of the year and summer, what you should do to get ready, what to look for damage. We've kind of been around the outside of the house.
We have.
And we haven't found termites or carpenter ants, most likely.
Right.
Just an obnoxious chihuahua next door, right?
Yeah, the little dog.
All right. So then what should we look for inside?
On the inside, just one of the maintenance things that we want to do, the yearly thing we want to do, make sure that we're rolling into summer, that we're actually turning off the humidifier. Because if the humidifier is running when the air...
This is the one in the furnace.
The one in the furnace.
Okay.
Yeah. The one that puts the air into, or the moisture into your furnace and moves it through your house. Make sure you turn that off and then close the damper. Change that from winter to summer, because if that solenoid fails and you start running water through that, then that moisture doesn't get drawn into the air conditioner A coil and freezing that up. By doing that, it can be harmful to the air conditioner compressor.
Okay.
And also take the steps and take the time to actually change out that humidifier. Go ahead and take off the cover. There's either a screw at the bottom or two buttons on the top and bottom. Go and push that in. The cover will pull off. That cartridge will actually pull out, take off the water source, there's going to be either, one way or another that top of the cartridge is going to open up, take out the filter, put the new one in. There's always going to be a model number if it's an air.
Oh, I know. You're looking for a brand name?
Yeah, brand name.
What is the big one? Humidity? I can't remember.
Anyway, the...
air waterer thinger.
Yeah, there's going to be a model number traditionally on the cover itself or on the side. And just go
April
to
Air.
April Air, that's what I'm looking for. Menards or Lowe's or Ace, they would all have that. Take in that number and get what you need. Put that filter back in, put it all together, and then put the water service back into the top. Make sure that the bottom is secure in the bottom. The bottom of the cartridge is secure into the bottom of the air humidifier because there is a receiver for the extra water. Otherwise, you're going to get water all over your basement. Put it all together.
That's an easy thing to forget, that filter.
And as a home inspector, that's one of the things I'd say 90% of the houses never do change that out.
Okay. And there are some ramifications for that.
There is. If you are one of those individuals who has run their humidity so high, then there have been times when that filter has actually gotten moldy. So that is just going to continue to draw that dirty air in through your house. So for the health of you and your family, go ahead and change that out. It's easy to do.
Okay.
And then the air conditioner or the air conditioner compressor, go ahead and clean that out. We've just kind of bridging that cotton season where all the cotton is dropping off the...
You're talking about the fins on your air conditioner unit outside.
Right. And what you would do is just take water with a spray attachment on that and then spray from the inside out. That will traditionally clean the majority of that out, and that'll make your compressor run much more efficient. And then on the inside again, the fireplace, if you have been using it this last winter, go ahead and take a flashlight, take a look up inside of it.
That would be wood burning, of course,
Wood burning or coal. We want to take a flashlight, take a look, and see what the buildup of the creosote is along the inside of the firebox and in your chimney. There can only be 1/8 of an inch of creosote buildup before you'd want to have that cleaned out. There are a couple professionals in town that would be able to clean that out for you, but the last thing we want to do is, when we're ready for fire season, to go ahead and have a fire chimney.
Okay, so I don't look in my chimney. Now, obviously, it's going to look different if I have an old clay chimney as opposed to a metal chimney. But I'm looking up there. If it's a healthy chimney, if I have burned wood, it's not going to be shiny anymore.
That's correct.
So what do I want to see that's different?
It's going to be kind of a scaly material that is going to be building up on the sides of your chimney and your firebox. We want to make sure that is removed because that is fuel for fire. If you get a good ranging in there, that can take care of that. Also, an interesting thing is gas fireplaces. They do get clogged up. They do need to be cleaned. So if you're running your gas fireplace and you notice a very yellow flame, and it also have like a shadow around the flame, kind of a dark deal, that's a sign that needs to be cleaned also. The jets are not clear and the mixture is off.
Okay.
So kind of keep that in mind.
Well, that's a good one. Okay. Yeah. Well, let's take as we're here, thank you, Jim. We got about 5 minutes left, and we want to get back to the Lincoln Day thing to make sure people understand what's going on there. So once again, cops, sheriffs, highway patrolmen, firemen, home inspectors, hopefully realtors are doing what?
We are getting together and meeting the people of Lincoln. We are doing hot dogs, we're doing chips, we're doing drinks, lots of games and prizes for everyone involved. It'll be a great
If you're over
time.
300 pounds, you can't do the bouncy thing.
Well, that's true. Yeah. But there are lots of other activities. You'll be able to crawl through the cruisers. You'll be able to meet the highway patrol and have them, tell stories about, their lives of what it's really like to be out there in the real world, because your perspective of what their job is like is so different from real life. So, and it's just a great way for the kids to become more comfortable. If there's ever problems, then they're more approachable. If the kids are in trouble or whatever, then the police will be more approachable once they meet them. So you'll be able to go through the fire truck, go in the jump seat, and talk to the real firemen. They'll have helmets that the kids usually run around in. And, of course, the minnow races. That is the funnest thing, I'll tell you. You get to name your minnow, you get to see it run down the tournament and see how it goes.
It doesn't turn into sushi at the end?
What would you do with your minnow is up to you. But, yeah, it's really a fun time. And so we're going to have tons of games. So, again, we're going to have shelter on the inside. So if it's hot, if it's, windy outside, then we do have the shelter on the inside. Plenty of games, plenty of food.
And the cost is?
It is free.
Did you hear that? Free.
Free hot dogs, free drinks, and free games for everybody. And it's just a nice time to have a safe environment for your kids to play and network with other kids. And just, for the adults to sit and talk and get to learn and get to meet each other.
Okay, very good. And that is?
It's going to be June 3rd. Starting
Sunday.
Saturday.
Saturday, sorry.
Starting at 11 o'clock, and we'll be done at 4.
Okay, 11 to 4 at Lincoln, in the, I'm guessing, school parking lot or playground and inside the school at Lincoln School?
It is the northeast area of the school. So we'll have that playground back there, and then we'll also have access to the gym where we'll have the parachutes and the games and all that other stuff.
Okay, sounds good. I think I might be in for a hot dog or two. So I don't know how much time we got left, Jim?
2 minutes.
We got 2 minutes. So let's just quick get back to another thing we're going to talk about is after a hailstorm, you've had banging and pinging, what should you be looking for? If your window breaks, obvious, that kind, but just to get a feel whether you need to go any further than say, man, that was hail.
Well, one of the things that you'll be able to do is look at the bottom of your downspouts. See if there's a lot of aggregate loss that is sitting on the ground next to the end of that. That'll tell you how much damage your roof actually got. And then also, if the hail came from the west, look on the east side of the house on the back side of the gutters, and you'll see the dents from the hail.
Okay.
And that'll help you gauge the size of the hail strikes. And of course, contact your insurance company if you ever have any questions with that.
All right, sounds good. We're going to wrap it up with one more reminder. Saturday, June 3rd, 11 to 4 at the Lincoln School. Hot dogs, games, fun. Be there. Thanks for riding with us. We'll talk to you next week.